Hey, so welcome back. So one of the things that I was talking to a few people about, and this is something that's, struck me down as well, is that I will look at job listings, trying to increase opportunities, apply for jobs, and I will see something like a manager, director, executive director, and so on. And I used to think, oh my God, I can't possibly do that. That's not me. I'm not that guy. I'm not that person. I'm not that educated. And, that kind of thinking holds us all back, and then I would sit there thinking, you know what? Let me just look at, I'll play this game. I'll look at it a little. And I would go and, look at the listing and look at the requirements and say, oh, I can do that. Oh, I've done that. I've done that. I've done that. And before you know it, I was at the bottom of the requirements and I'm like, I've done all this stuff a lot. And so I think a lot of us have this self-doubt and this fear that we're not good enough, that we are not the person that needs to show up. But guess what? Like a lot of people, especially mothers that have been stay-at-home moms, for years. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to the fact that you ran a household, you managed the finances, you managed a schedule, a tight schedule most of the time, through baseball, school, picking kids up, dropping them off, cleaning the house, making sure everything's ready, make sure the finances are straight. It's a big job. And it's it's management level jobs where you're just managing basically kids. And one of the things that people seem to misunderstand is the value of their experience. So me, I'm 45 at the time of this recording, the big 4-5. And one of the things that I find funny is that, as you get older, you look at younger people and you're like, man, I remember being like that. I remember being so full of experience or excitement, of vigor, and all these different things and these emotions. And as you get older, you just kind of get beat down, how many people can relate to that, say caca and, stand up, move around, and just understand that you are wrong. You have a lot of experience. You just don't know how to phrase it. You just don't know how to understand it. You don't know how to talk to people about it. So you compare yourself to other people and you'll compare yourself to these experiences, and sometimes they are not related or sometimes they are. However, whenever you have an experience that doesn't seem aligned, right? Not at all. But what ends up happening is that if you start to say, oh, well, I've managed people. Oh, well, I've managed a schedule. Oh, well, I've de-escalated situations. Oh, well, I've, taught people. Boom, you form a bridge. And there you are. All of a sudden, you're experienced. All of a sudden, you know things, right? And you just have to understand that is your superpower. Your superpower is your self-confidence. And one thing that I didn't have when I was younger was self-confidence. I didn't understand that all of my experience, little as it was something that I can use to help other people. And now here I am. I was not a religious person when I was growing up. I kind of got a little put off because I looked different as opposed, and people, the thing I used to hate, honestly, was when people would say, what does that mean? What's normal? I'm like, homie, you know what normal is? I had a bunch of piercings, all this stuff. Now I just got tattoos and stuff, but, you know what normal is. You know what the average understanding and expectation of a person is, right? And I refuse to kowtow or bow down to the idea that everyone is special and we cannot understand what a normal person looks like, right? So I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm just saying that people kind of get convoluted to me in that idea, because if everyone's special, then we can't treat anybody, then we can't talk to anybody, then we have no common language and we have no commonality. And for me, I think that forms wedges between people. So what I always try and do is try to make bridges and try to talk to people and try to understand. And, if you've seen any of my reels, I was talking about de-escalation and communication, and my wife called me out on it. She was very upset. She was like, hey, you never talk like this at home. Like, why are you saying this? Who are you talking to like this, you know? And it was true. Like, I had to step back and say, hey, I'm wrong. I just need to, fix myself. I need to understand that it's not all about other people. It's about me and myself and how I actualize myself, how I show up. And whenever I see people talking about, oh, this and that, this is that, this is garbage, this person is lazy, this person is dumb, this person is ugly, and blah, blah, blah. And I always think, you are uglier to another person, or you are dumb to another person, or you are smart to another person. So comparing yourself is a losing battle. And in fact, it starts turning into something you internalize. And all you see is the negatives. All you see is the problems. You never see the opportunities. And for those of you that have never been lucky enough to live, never been lucky enough to live outside of the country, especially a second and third world country, you have no idea how lucky you are right now. You have no idea. So there are opportunities everywhere. And one of the problems is that, I guess one of the things that people do is they dismiss all of our opportunities. I currently live in America, and people don't want to work hard. They want to work as hard as they want to, and then they move on with life, and then say, oh, well, that person screwed me over. This happened, and this person was a favorite. Of course, I couldn't get this job. Of course, I couldn't do this. And don't think that I'm not talking about myself. I had to, I get passionate when I talk about this because, my wife pointed it out, she's a very smart woman, that I would say, and it's the people pleaser in me, I would say, oh, I'm fine with this. I'm fine with that. And, I don't know. I'm good that I didn't get this position. I'm cool that I'm on these other schedules and people are just moving on past me. And the reality was I was getting frustrated. The reality was I was letting myself down because I wasn't being honest, and I wasn't facing it, and if I didn't face it, I was internalizing it, getting more and more angry. And it was always somebody else and always something different. What I learned is that even if there's a favorite, look, there's favorites, genders, DEI stuff, education, what have you, whatever excuse you want to come up with, whatever garbage you want to come up with. The real fact is that whenever anything comes up, you have the power to see it as a failure or an opportunity. An opportunity to say, hey, what did I learn? And the word failure, again, is just something that people throw around and it's seen as a negative thing. But the reality is that every failure is an experience that you now have. So every time I didn't get the job, every time I didn't have a good interview, every time this and that happened, it was not bad that I did that. At the time, I thought that. But when I look back, I think, wow, look at all the stuff I learned, right? Can you understand me? Do you feel that? It's like, go. That's my favorite sound. But for now, I'll leave you with that thought. I'll leave you with what opportunities you have left on the table because you started using excuses. And then I will ask you, what opportunities do you still have that are unseen right now? Just look into yourself, look into your life, and think, hey, what can I learn and what can I use as a catapult to get me to that next level, to get me to that next job, to get me to that next amount of happiness? All right, I'm going to let you go.